Cheers to adulting.
Hello,
Hi, everybody.
I'm Ashley Barajas.
And I'm Abby Rosemarin.
And this is Cheers to Adulting. I forgot that I bought the silicone straws specifically for when we shoot, so it doesn't make the
clickety-clackety.
Fuck it.
YOLO, bitch.
I do what I want. I'm feeling nice.
Someone might have had a few drinks before we started.
Yeah, I had I had a cider as a treat for adulting because I shoveled the driveway. And if you haven't listened to other episodes, when I say driveway, it's like a driveway and then a little tiny parking lot that is what would be considered other people's parking lots.
An uphill
their
driveway, too.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough. It's an uphill driveway.
It took me, because it was like maybe 2 inches, I was able to kind of push the shovel, but it took at least like 45 minutes to an hour to do.
You know what? Sometimes it does take 45 minutes when you only have 2 inches.
Oh, man.
Well, we're starting off on a really good note, everybody.
Yes. And then after that, I had some Glühwein, or Glüg, which is a hot mulled wine. And then Abby made us butterbeer. And so that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Oh, boy.
English.
This is going to be an interesting podcast, everybody. Buckle up.
Shall we talk about some adulty shit?
Let's talk about some adulty shit. Would you like to continue on with your adulty shit?
Sure. So let's talk about, it's really at the front of my mind of something I've not been doing, is my laundry. Well, I have done it per se. It has been washed, but it's sitting on top of the dryer and it is sitting in a laundry basket by the dryer. Basically, the whole laundry room is filled with my clean clothes. It needs to get done because it is annoying walking down in the morning in my robe to go get underwear and socks.
Ruh-roh.
I've got enough clothes to last me upstairs in my bedroom, but not chones, as the Mexicans say for underwear, aka my mother. She calls them chones. So I need to do my laundry, but I'm still recovering from this past weekend. I had an epic belated birthday party / winter Yule Ball Harry Potter themed party. It was amazing. We were all there. It was like 33 people in my house, but it didn't feel cramped, but it was like so much fun. I'm very thankful that I have amazing friends that people who were still here when the party was winding down helped clean up. In the morning, people who are still here, we did breakfast, they helped clean up.
I did not help clean up. I'm sorry.
That's all right. You helped craft before the party.
I crafted and I brought some supplies.
Yeah.
So that,
You did your thing.
Got my little participation trophy over here.
So I've been still kind of picking up little things that I haven't cleaned since then. But yeah, I need to take care of my fucking laundry. And tomorrow is the day
There we
that
go.
I do it.
Ayo. So,
Et toi?
And me, all right, et moi. So I feel...
Comment ça va?
I don't speak French.
Ça va bien? Ça va mal?
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Oui, oui. D'accord.
Oh, ménage de deux?
Oui. It sounded like you said ménage à deux.
I'm not sure what I said aside from house of.
House of.
That's about it. That is my French. In fact, I'm just going to completely digress for a moment and talk about when I was in high school. And my friend would keep asking me if I spoke French, and I'd be like, un pun.
Un pun.
And she had to correct me eventually. She was like, you do understand you're basically saying like a bastardized version of a bread. You're trying to say a little, and that means it's un pot, but you keep saying a bread. So when people would ask me, do you speak French? I'd be like, a bread, which should let you know exactly how much French I speak.
You can say comme ci, comme ça, so.
Yeah, there we go. I got that going for me, which is nice. Anyway, You know, I was going to talk about my adulting, which in some cruel twist of fate is the fact that I tackled fucking 5 loads of laundry and folded it and put that shit away.
Bragger.
Right, well, I mean, to be fair, though, it was because I'd been traveling for Christmas and, you know, everything was just super crazy right into New Year's, and it just got, it piled up, and eventually yesterday and today it was like, fuck this noise, I'm gonna get this shit done, and I tackled it. But you know what? That's not my proud adulting moment. My proud adulting moment is actually related to the party that happened on Saturday, because I went through my closet and using only the items that I had in my closet, I made a fucking Hogwarts school uniform, and I pulled that bitch off.
She did, truly. Like,
I fucking
it
did
could
it, man.
not have been more perfect. It looked like you purchased your uniform.
And I did not.
Literally took it all at the party.
And then
She did.
and like a true adult, slowly but surely the costume came off, because anyone who's
There was a moment where Abby was definitely like feeling herself, dancing by herself.
you know what? I love
The
to
kitchen.
dance. What can I say? But no, anyone who's, you know, watched the Harry Potter movies knows that there's a lot of layers to the school uniform. So eventually the gray sweater's coming off. Eventually I'm unbuttoning the white shirt. Eventually the tie is coming off. And it's just a very slow striptease. And so for those who were not invited to the party on Saturday, I am sorry, because you missed that very, very slow and methodical striptease until I was down to all the way to my tank top, guys. Ooh.
Also, if you weren't invited and you're a friend of mine, it was either because I decided that at about 50 people I should stop inviting people.
Yeah, that's a good number to cap it at.
And there were like some people I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to invite that person. Oh shit, I forgot to invite that person. Yeah, so
Sorry you
other
didn't matter,
parties.
y'all.
Yeah,
Next time.
next time.
Anyways, so that was my adulting.
Nice. It got so warm in here because of just body heat.
Yep.
That Michael was able to just turn off the heat.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And there were doors open, I remember. Like doors in the kitchen were open, and it got hot in here, everybody. And I took off all my clothes as per the Nelly song.
Indeed. So before we start getting into the thick of it, I thought we could share some adulting resolutions that our wonderful listeners shared with us. We went on our Instagram account and our Facebook account. So if you ever want to kind of participate in sort of things we do, follow us, subscribe, save, all those things. So we're going to share some of the resolutions for 2019 from some of you guys.
Yes, indeedy.
So Veronica C said her New Year's resolution is getting outside and off the screen more. And she said, I say while looking at a screen, because it was on Instagram. Yeah. But you know what, Veronica, it is okay that you were looking on Instagram. I know that I'm really bad about getting on Facebook and Instagram a lot. I do that a lot at work, and I don't feel guilty about it because I'm a housekeeper and it's fucking boring. And it breaks up the monotony of, between ironing suits and spot cleaning tablecloths and cleaning toilets. So
there we go.
But, moderation. And they have apps and new updates on your iPhones. Yep. You can make sure that it'll tell you and shame you for your screen time.
Although I will say I have one of those apps.
I turned it off.
Yeah, it doesn't work on me. I'll get the little notification. It'll be like, your screen time went up 50% yesterday. And I'm like, oh, fuck you. Checks Instagram again. It doesn't work for me.
When that update went through and then it was like, you spent blah, blah, blah. I was like, I'm turning this shit off. Fuck you. Don't you tell me what to do.
I don't need this judgment in my life.
All right, do you want to read the
next one? All right, so the next one comes from Cam M. And his resolution is to start saving money.
Holla, I'm in full support of that.
Right? Let's do that. Let's get financially conscious up in this bitch.
We'll talk a little bit about that later on the episode. Megan says that she wants peace and progress.
I kind of like that one.
Very broad, but I like it. Peace and progress in all aspects of your life is a great thing to aspire to and to want in the world.
Right? And our listener Gamble said to be less fat.
Same, boy, same. Definitely. When I did that fitness competition that everyone remembers and I had won, I gained that weight back. Yay, me.
Hey, time to do the next competition and win some money.
Yes.
I can go again. So Noam.
Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. No, I want to say Noam.
Do Noam's.
Okay, Noam said she has quite an ambitious 2019 ahead of her. But I know Noam personally, so I have every bit of faith in her. So she said she wants to work on the things that are important to me, not push them to the bottom of my priorities. Work out 4 times a week, be less angry. I like all those things. Working out 4 times a week, it may, for people that don't regularly work out, that's pretty reasonable.
That is.
When I did that fitness competition, it was working out 6 times a week. 4 times is not terrible, especially if you can break it up throughout the week.
Yep.
And be less angry, that's a great thing.
I think we could all benefit for some anger management skills.
For sure.
So Sally L would like to be more positive in the new year.
I fully support that. I think there's nothing wrong with being positive. I think we could all benefit. I'm a little bit too positive sometimes. So if you happen to be a very positive person, help out your friends and help them be a little more positive themselves.
There we go.
Rocco G said be more selfish, which I think is a good thing because some people aren't selfish enough and forget to look out for numero uno, yourself. I know that I definitely like to stretch myself thin and do things for everyone else and not for myself. So I learned a while ago that it's okay to be a little selfish.
You have to be.
It's not even being selfish, it's being more self-loving.
Self-care, everybody.
Self-care.
You cannot pour from an empty cup. Don't forget that.
And I try to get Michael share a thing, and he said, I don't do New Year's resolutions. And I was
Nothing
like,
wrong with
well,
that.
anything. And he was like, I want to poop 6 times in 1 hour. And I said, that I believe means that you should see a doctor.
I mean, whatever it takes, dream big in 2019.
If you don't know Michael, he loves poop jokes. They never get old. And yeah, he still makes me laugh if he tries to surprise me and fart. He'll say, did you hear about that thing the other day? And I'll be waiting for the next part of the conversation, and then he'll fart.
Of course he would.
And then he'll laugh, and then I'll laugh, and it just never gets old.
No, and he also likes to do the, do you smell popcorn?
Do you smell popcorn?
And then, of course, everyone starts sniffing because we all love popcorn.
And then you realize he
And then
farted.
it's
a genius joke. Use it, everybody,
Evil
kids.
genius, though.
So Abby is going to start us off.
That's right. So if you can't tell already, this is going to be all about the new year and New Year's resolutions. So let's first get behind the statistics of New Year's resolutions, which I know everyone loves statistics. That whole, there are 3 lies in the world. There's lies, dirty lies, and statistics.
I've never heard that.
Well, y'all have been educated. Again, you uncultured swine. You've been educated, you uncultured swines. So according to the various places I've been researching, and the numbers are relatively same from site to site, which either means these numbers are correct or everyone is going from the same
source.
Yeah, the same bullshit source. Who knows? So 40% of people do New Year's resolutions. Only 8 will keep them past the month of February. So those are some pretty dire numbers. Or just 8 people. 8 people, that's it.
Out of the entire world.
Exactly.
Wait. Let's have a quick little, Pat found a box and decided to play with it, so we're gonna play it real quick. And I think it's short enough that we won't get sued. And back to your regularly scheduled program.
Podcasting.
Only 8 people.
8 people
in the entire world keep their resolutions. I would
all 8
believe
of them
that.
checked in. Honestly, I would too. So it is 8% of those 40%.
Oh, okay.
But
8% of 40%?
Well, so of the 40%, now we're going to shift it to 100. We're talking the 0 to 100%
All right, so
of the 40.
we're saying 100 people.
Out of 100 people, 40 of those bitches are going to do a New Year's resolution.
Okay.
And out of those 40, and holy fucking shit, I'm bad at math, 3 to 4 out of the 100 will actually get their New Year's,
Sure,
do the
okay.
New Year's
I believe
resolution
your
past
math.
February. You know what? I'm just gonna say I am bad at math, stone sober. The fact that I'm doing this a few drinks in, like somebody get me a gold fucking
And
star
however
sticker.
bad she's bad, however bad at math she's bad at math, I'm more bad at math.
Again, everybody,
I can't math.
This is a hot mess of an episode. Hi, everybody.
A wonderful mess of an
A wonderful mess.
All right.
So anyways,
So 3 to 4 people.
Yeah, 3 to 4 people
will keep
out of
those
those
resolutions.
Yeah. So the numbers aren't really good. So why is that? So the science behind
Because
breaking
cake is good.
cake is delicious. That's actually all the scientific research that I found. Just that was the
Cake is good.
That was their conclusion. Cake was delicious. So it was like I didn't
Podcast over.
Right? Boom. Mic drop.
Bye.
So actually the reason for this is because they're not setting their resolutions intelligently, and this is known as the false hope syndrome. This is when people have an unrealistic expectation about the likely speed, amount, ease, and consequences of changing their behavior. So we kind of saw it a little bit with some of the people's resolutions where it can just be like, I'm gonna fucking do all the things. I'm gonna stop staring at a screen, she says as she stares at a screen, that kind of thing. But other things where people will say, you know what, in the new year, I'm gonna exercise and I'm gonna wake up at 6 in the morning and I'm gonna go run every day and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna pay all my bills on time. And like it's a fucking laundry list of all this shit they wanna get accomplished. No wonder they burn out by February. So, but the good news is there is a way to make resolutions actually stick. There is science behind it. There is psychology behind it. And here are some ways that you can actually keep those resolutions according to psychology. The first thing you want to do is you want to keep it simple. You want to have small, attainable, and realistic goals. So if you're setting the goal of, I'm going to be less fat. Well, what you want to do then is you want to say, I want to,
Lose 5 pounds.
Yeah, I want to lose 5 pounds over this, span of 3 to 4 months, and I'm going to do so.
Jesus, set your a little higher.
Yeah, well, we'll actually get into weight loss in a minute, or in a little bit, because that's my next segment is on the fitness and diet resolutions. But let's say I want to decrease my body mass by a certain amount of percent over a certain amount of time, and I'm going to do so by adding these certain exercise regimens into my life. So you have these small attainable goals. You don't say I'm going to lose 20 pounds because, oh, fuck all, you're going to have a rough go at it. But if you say maybe I'm going to, again, lose a little bit more of my body mass, be a little less percentage of body fat, you're going to have a better chance at it. The next thing is you want to keep it tangible, and this actually goes right back to, I feel so bad. I'm kind of digging at Gamble right now, but so
We love you.
we love you. We're sorry. Well, I can do the other ones too, but this one is just such a good one because everyone does this kind of resolution. This is not
It's in my wheelhouse right now, for sure.
faux show, Berta.
Murder. Is that what you said?
I said Ferda.
Ferda?
Ferda. Which, if you do not watch the show Letterkenny, I am so sorry. You know what?
I've never heard of that.
It is an amazing show. It is a Canadian comedy show.
Oh.
It is on Hulu. Pause this bitch right now. Watch Letterkenny, and after you're done with like the first season or so, well, just come back, all right? And you're welcome.
Is Ferda supposed to be like murder?
No, it's like
Murda?
like for sure, like Ferda. There are two hockey players, and they always quip at each other, and they'll be talking about like the various like hot women. They'll be like Ferda, and then they would give each other the rock, that kind of thing.
The Rock?
The rock, like two.
You mean a fist bump?
Yeah, which is the rock. You get with the exploding.
I don't think I've ever heard that. You mean the fist bump?
It is the fist bump,
They
but it's
fist
also
bump
known
each
as
other.
they fist bump each other, but it's also known as giving the rock.
I've never heard that.
Y'all
I
are
think you're
learning some
making
shit.
that up.
You know what? I would Google it right now, but that's a rabbit hole that we can go down in a different day. But anyways, you want to keep. I told you. I told you this is going to be a hot mess of an episode. But you want to keep it tangible. Look at me bringing it right back. So you don't want to be abstract. You don't want to say, I want to be healthy. I want to lose weight. You want to make it an action. You want to say, I am going to do this certain exercise. I'm going to do this and that thing. You want to make it tangible. And likewise, you want to make it obvious. So whatever it takes to turn it into something that's very visual or very auditory, whether that means you make a chart, you put it on a calendar, you talk about it on Facebook, you get one of those fitness apps and you're fucking screenshotting that bitch and putting it on Instagram, whatever it takes, that's going to give you that positive feedback that's going to help you keep going. And you want to do one thing at a time. So I'll move away from Gamble and I'll get to Noam, because she has all these awesome things that, you know, she wants to do. That's a lot of them. You want to do one of those at a time. So maybe you focus on working out 4 times a week. First and foremost, you get that bitch under control. And then it's like, okay, now I'm going to work on the things that are important to me. And, you know, and then again, turn that into something that's very actionable, not make it, not have it be intangible with work on the things that are important, and so on and so forth. And in short, really, if you have ever worked in a business that has setting goals as part of your job, you probably know about setting SMART goals. That's S-M-A-R-T in capital letters, which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So again, you want to make it very specific, you want to make it quantifiable, you want to say, I'm going to work out 4 times a week, not just I'm going to exercise, but I'm going to do the thing this many times. You want to be realistic about it, and you want to have a timetable. These are the things that are going to help you actually keep your resolutions. And that's basically it. The last thing that psychology says to do is focus on your process, not on the product. This is actually a sports psychology trick as well, where you don't want to focus, like if you want to lose weight, you don't want to step on the scale every fucking day and get pissed off that you're not losing weight. You want to focus on going to the gym and eating right and so on and so forth. Focus on that and then let things happen as they happen. So that is some science for you, bitches. Now I'm going to swing it on over to Ashley.
All right, bitches. So I'm going to talk about dry January. So dry January, if you don't know about it, hi Kat, it is basically you do not drink any alcohol for the month of January. It's dry. And yeah, it's a phenomenon that started in 2013, I believe. So yeah, I did dry January a few years ago successfully, I might add.
It's not happening this month, if you can't tell.
Nope. So found some good article on Wall Street Journal. The phenomenon is widely practiced and promoted in the UK through a public health campaign started by the charity Alcohol Change UK in 2013. More than 4 million people have signed on in recent years, the charity says. Richard de Visser, a psychology professor at the University of Sussex in England, has done several studies examining dry January. Working with Alcohol Change UK, he surveyed 857 people who signed up to, it is so hard to talk right now, oh my God, signed up to participate before and after the campaign and again 6 months later. 2/3 of the participants reported that they successfully met the challenge. And then a small group of participants experienced a rebound effect, drinking more than they drank before. But overall, at the 6-month follow-up mark, participants who finished dry January and those who quit early reported drinking fewer days a week and fewer drinks per sitting. When I did dry January, I had paired it a little bit with like health. I do eat pretty healthy, I'd say, but I paired it with like even healthier, you know. I have a really bad habit of snacking and sweets. Sweets is my downfall. I fucking love sweets. Could eat sweets all day. But in the end, I had lost 10 pounds that month, which is not a bad thing. Now if I could see you lose 10 pounds again. So some of the benefits to choosing to do dry January. You save money. All that money you spend on drinking booze can go straight into your savings account, or you can use that money for other things. You can use that extra money for doing a yoga class.
What's up? Maybe my yoga class.
Exactly. Replacing it with healthy habits. You could use that money to save up for a vacation, something to treat yourself with at the end of the month. You could even, I mean, it won't really negate it. You could use that money to buy yourself a really expensive bottle of a liquor of your choice or wine. Because when it's really expensive, you're not going to drink it all at one go. You're going to savor it, and it'll kind of reinforce those habits of like you're treating yourself at the end of the month. You're going to be a little more of a lightweight, and you'll really be able to appreciate that as a nice little treat. Another thing, you'll wake up feeling more refreshed and energized. I'm sure in the past episodes we have talked about how alcohol does help you sleep. However, it's not going to give you the kind of appropriate sleep that your body does need. I won't go into it too much, but yeah, you will get a deep sleep, but you're not getting that circadian rhythm and hitting that REM cycle that your body does need.
And honestly, you could just watch our previous episode on booze, because we do talk about that pretty in depth. So get into our archives.
Our very first episode.
Oh, that's right. That was episode number 1, bitches.
That was a hot mess.
That was actually, you know what? I love that our first episode was as much of a hot mess as it was, because every time we get into hot messes now, it's like, let's compare it to episode 1. Is it as hot mess as episode 1? It's not. We're doing good.
We're doing good. And then, so you'll feel more refreshed, you'll feel energized. And then another thing, you might lose weight. Okay, so grain of salt, y'all. So it all depends on you, your eating, and physical activity habits. Murder. Your eating habits. So if you pair dry January with more exercise, with better eating habits, you could potentially lose weight. That is dry January.
Very nice.
And the thing is that, you know, as I said before, it does prove that doing dry January, you will probably drink less throughout the year. And so you'll be saving yourself some money for the entire year. You'll be drinking less, and you'll be finding ways to hang out with your friends where you aren't drinking. And we'll take it back to you, Abby.
Yeah, we'll take it back on to me. So we're going to start talking about the actual specific resolutions. And I am going to be talking about the most common resolution that we have, which is the diet/fitness resolution.
Me. One of mine.
So again, for those who don't know, my background is in the world of fitness. I am a certified personal trainer and yoga instructor and all that. One thing I am not, though, I am not a licensed dietitian. So the shit I'm going to be saying at the end of the day, if you have a dietitian in your life that's telling you something different, listen to that bitch. If you've got a doctor who's telling you different, listen to that bitch, because one thing I'm also not is I am not a medical professional. So let's talk about fitness and diet. First things first, we want to focus on being healthy, and we want to focus on starting small. We're going back to the science of our resolutions. You want to make small, attainable goals, and you want to go one at a time. And you don't want it to be intangible. So it's so easy to be like, I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to exercise more. Well, what does that mean exactly? What do you want to do? And we'll start with the world of exercise. And this might be at the chagrin of all the Planet Fitnesses in the world, but I actually recommend against getting the gym membership. I honestly feel that that is not starting small. Now, if you genuinely want to do the gym membership and it works for you, or you have done the gym membership New Year's resolution and you stuck to it, awesome. This, you know, I don't want to say this never happens, but it actually increases your likelihood of that pre-February burnout. I suggest you actually want to think of what things you can do, small things that you can do in your day-to-day life that will increase your exercise, and kind of just build from there. It can be stupidly small, and I know this is so cliched, but maybe you're taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Maybe you're walking somewhere where you usually drive. Little things like that, and then maybe you build up. Maybe first thing in the morning you're doing 20 push-ups and some crunches. Maybe at the end of the night you do a 20-minute YouTube video, a cardio thing. Keep it small, something that you can actually do every day, or at least every other day, depending on what your fitness regimen is going to be like. And I cannot stress enough, and I'm just going to say it right now, do not worry about the number on the scale. It's actually a huge PSA that I try to tell my clients, my students, anyone who will listen, basically. If I gotta shout it in a sidewalk in Boston at random people, then fuck it, so be it. Do not worry about the number on the scale. Unless you have a heart condition in which your actual weight is a factor, even if it were muscle and not fat, if that is straining your heart and your doctor is saying you have to lose that weight no matter what because you have a heart condition, unless you are that person, the number is not going to help you in the grand scheme of things. So let's chat a little bit about muscle and fat. We always hear that muscle weighs more than fat. To a degree, that's not true. A pound of muscle is equal to a pound of fat because it's a pound. That's one of the things that always drives me nuts is people be like, a pound of muscle weighs more than a pound of fat. Listen to the words that are coming out of your mouth. You just said a pound is more than a pound. But here's the thing, muscle is more dense than fat. So a pound of fat is going to take up a lot less space than a pound of muscle is going to take up a lot less space than a pound of fat. So you could be losing dress sizes. You could drop, if you're a woman, if you drop from a size 16 to a 10, you might stay the same weight. You might even gain a little bit of weight because you got rid of fat and you gained muscle. I always like telling people that once I started my world of fitness, I gained 30 pounds. People always freak out when they hear that because, well, you gained 30 pounds, what happened? I stopped being scrawny McScronster and I got muscle. But here's the thing, you could take the pictures of who I was before the fitness world and who I am now, and there's not much of a difference. There's more arm definition, my stomach's a little more toned. That's it. Maybe my rib cage is not as prominent as I was when I was 24, but that's really fucking it. So really do not worry about the number on the scale. Look at things like your body measurements. Look at how clothes are feeling. Notice how you are feeling in general. Are you getting winded when you have to sprint across the parking lot? Shit like that. Do not worry about the number because the number is going to piss you off, especially if you're going to the gym and you're trying to lose that weight and you step on the scale and you're like, what the hell? I've been 165 for the last week. Yeah, you've been 165 for the last week, but you went from a 12 to maybe a 10 and a half or 11. I know they don't make those half sizes and odd sizes in the world of women's clothes because fuck making women's clothing feel good. But you know what I mean here.
And I just wanted to tag into that. Just reminds me a lot of Casey Urban, who was gave a quick little guest appearance on our travel episode. She is also a yoga teacher.
What's up?
And she also is a huge proponent and advocate for body love and helping people who are recovering from eating disorders, whether bulimic or binging or whatever. And she used to be bulimic, and she's very open and honest about her journey and about, being healthy and physically active, but also loving your body no matter what it looks like. It's not going to look perfect. So if you need a little more support about body love, you can follow her Instagram.
There we go.
Casey Urban. But I was thinking about that because I always am seeing her Instagram. She's always talking about, body positive and it's great. She posts those awesome pictures of, nice, thick women who are doing awesome yoga poses.
I love that stuff because at the end of the day, healthy, there is no specific size for healthy. At the end of the day, it's going to look different on everybody. And I can't stress that enough. And honestly, us women, we can be really nervous about muscle. We can be nervous about things like resistance training and weight training and what have you. We're worried about bulking up. I cannot stress it enough. It is next to fucking impossible for a woman to bulk up. And I like to use me as the example where, I do kickboxing, I do aerial silks. And now mind you, aerial silks is me climbing up shit for hours on end. I've gained a lot of upper body strength. And I always like to point out to people, I'm like, do I look bulky to you? Do I look like the next Incredible Hulk? No, I fucking don't. You know why? Because it's really tough for women to bulk up. So don't worry about it.
Don't diminish my dreams.
Your dreams of being the Hulk?
Bulky.
You want to be the Hulk?
Yes.
Hulk smash. Ashley smash.
Ashley smash.
It's almost like that Help Helen smash, only not. You know what, whatever, they're not all gonna be winners. Anyway, but still, you want muscle. And if nothing that I'm saying, if nothing convinces you, maybe this will. Muscle has a much higher metabolic rate than fat does. It raises your metabolic rate. Fat does nothing in your body. It hangs out. Muscle actively burns calories. So you could just be hanging out like we're doing right now, sitting on a couch. Your body would burn more calories with having more muscle in it than it would if you didn't, and instead it was just fat.
No need to brag, Abby.
I'm just, you know what? I'm just here being like, look at all these muscles, bitch. I'm burning so many calories right now, which actually Ashley knows very well because I eat her out of house and home whenever I'm home. I'm just like, it's like, oh, give me all the food.
And I'm like, eat this food, eat.
And she knows something like is seriously wrong when I'm not eating all the food.
Oh yes.
Like I was over here maybe 2 months ago and I had the worst heartburn in the world thanks to having to take some antibiotics. And she was just like, what is going on? You had like 3 bites. And I'm like ready to cry too. I'm like, I want to eat all the food, but it hurts to swallow. Not the first time I've said that. Anyways, speaking of swallowing, now let's talk about nutrition. I cannot stress enough, the same way, do not worry about the numbers on the scale when it comes to fitness. Please stay away from the fad diets when it comes to your New Year's resolutions. I can't stress enough. I have too many friends who every January, they're like, I'm gonna do the Whole30, I'm gonna do keto, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And it's not sustainable. It really isn't. And I know Whole30 is supposed to be only for like a month, but still, it's not a healthy way of going about things. It's not a lifestyle change. You're more likely to rebound. They really recommend to keep it simple. So again, unless you have a medical reason to change your diet drastically, please do not do it. And here are a few tips that I found in my research and in my travels. The first thing is, don't try to completely get rid of something. And sometimes we do that. We'll be like, I want to completely get rid of soda. I want to completely get rid of carbs. I want to completely get rid of potato chips or fried foods. Again, you're going to relapse.
Yep.
There's no other way around that. So instead of going, I'm going to completely get rid of it, think more portion control. Like, you know what? I'm only going to have 1 can of soda instead of all the soda I want. I'm going to have a small bowl of potato chips instead of I'm going to cut out potato chips from my life. At the end of the day, portion control, and here's a big one, mindful eating. That is the way to go. You know, yes, incorporate healthy things, add healthy things to your diet. Don't take away necessarily in terms of taking away entirely, but add on. Like, I'm gonna add broccoli to my diet. I'm gonna add, more fresh fruit to my diet, things like that. And again, the mindful eating. If you want to change your diet, start learning how to chew your food thoroughly and take pauses while you're eating. I actually know a lot of people who lost a considerable amount of body mass and fat because they learned to, you know what, I'm gonna eat slowly. Every 5 minutes or so, I'm gonna take a pause, maybe drink some water, just hang out, let the food start to digest. They eat so much less, they're less likely to overeat. They're still enjoying the things that they love. They're still eating healthy amounts. They're just not overeating anymore. And again, on the same vein of don't completely get rid of anything, don't count calories. I know that the go-to is, oh, well, losing weight is calories in versus calories out. Well, yes, it's true. If you burn more calories than you eat, you lose weight. Yes, but in terms of actual numbers, it is such a broad, vague science that if you are counting every single calorie, you're just making yourself miserable. First and foremost, those numbers on the nutrition panels that say how many calories, that's a general estimate. Maybe that particular pouch of whatever food you have has more calories, has less calories. It's an estimate. It's not an actual number. And likewise, everyone has a different caloric need. And really, unless you're sitting down with your registered dietitian or your doctor and you're knocking out what your caloric need is, there's really no way for you to know. 2,000 calories a day is so broad, and almost nobody falls into needing 2,000 calories a day. day. Some people need considerably less. Some people need considerably more. Just think about it. A 5'1" woman who is relatively sedentary has a different caloric need than somebody who's 6'2" and an ultra marathoner. You're gonna need different amounts of food. So again, focus the same way with fitness. Focus on how are you feeling? Do you feel over full? Do you feel healthy? You know, focus on those things. Do not worry about the fad diets. Don't worry about counting calories. But again, if you have a dietary need that is actually medical, work with your fucking doctor and figure that noise out. And that's what I gotta say about diet and fitness in the new year.
Nice. And our last topic, I'm going to talk about money resolutions. So we had an episode that we did talk about budgeting. It is episode 6. If you want to go back and listen to that, it'll be very helpful if this is like one of your resolutions. Episode 6 called Spreadsheets and Butt Nuggets.
Hell yeah, baby.
If you don't know, butt nuggets are what Abby lovingly calls eggs.
Farm fresh butt nuggets.
Nuggets. So this is a common resolution. It's in fact one of my resolutions. There are even superstitious customs in different cultures on bringing financial prosperity into the new year. So growing up, it was a tradition for me, of ours, to eat black-eyed peas for New Year's. And then I believe this is a Southern tradition, and in different cultures, they do the same thing of eating circular things that represent coins. So like lentils, or I believe in Italy, they try and eat like 12 grapes before the clock strikes 12.
There we go. I like that.
At each, like, they eat a grape. Anyway, so yeah, they're all symbolizing coins, financial prosperity. So, you know, people are wanting to make or save money in the new year. So it's good. It kind of like ties back to sort of what you were saying with the science of it. So it's good to have a goal in mind, whether it's short term or long term, but you need to have a goal in mind. For example, do you want to save $1,000 by the end of the year? Perhaps you want to save enough money to go on a trip. Perhaps, like me, your goal is to pay off your debt. So let me tell you, I right now have a raging fire.
Is it a dumpster fire?
A raging dumpster fire that I'm determined to pay off all of my debt by the end of the year, or at least 90% of it. And this is not like an easy thing. Like, I'm going to have to fucking bust my ass and really like go to town. It'll make my life easier, my partner's life so much easier, and we'll be able to move on to other steps in our life and once it's gone. And I know I have to create better habits. So my problem is saying no to social things and buying things that I could use or I might need. However, I could live without them for a bit longer. It might be something that would, you know, make me more organized, or would be a helpful thing to have, but I can live without it. So it's all about baby steps and compromises. So I have a wonderful example. My friend Noam was inviting me to go out for drinks with a couple of other friends of ours at a bar in her town this Friday. So I said, that sounds like fun, but I'm on a no spending diet. And you know you got a good friend, because she said, okay, well, how about we just go to my house and we'll just drink there and hang out. And I was like, perfect. I've got the party, you know, lots of people brought me bottles of wine for my birthday, and so I can contribute that way, and I have food and I can cook. So we can still hang out and I'm not spending any money. And that is, so if you're afraid of saying no to social events or hanging out like I am, if you're just honest with your friends about what your goals are, and you know what, that you don't want to spend money because you need to pay off this or whatever, and they're like, oh God, you're so lame. They might joke at first, but you're like, no, really, I have to. And if they're not supportive, you don't need that fucking negativity in your life.
You don't
Fuck
need that in your life.
Yeah.
Right.
A real friend will say, okay, well, let's figure out something we can do to save money. And you might know, they might admit, oh, you know what? I'm trying to save money too. I'm trying not to spend money as well. So then you can be a support to each other and instill good habits. look at your spending habits. You can sign up for free sites like Mint that can show where your money goes. We have talked about Mint before. Again, we're not sponsored, but if you want to.
Corporate whores, everybody. You have no shame.
So you can find out about what you spend in each category. Look at all your subscriptions. See where maybe you can share a Netflix account with a friend. Like they can pay half, you can pay half. I know that I have one of my friends uses my Netflix, login. He's saving money.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all about, maybe you don't need Spotify. Maybe you don't need, I do. I can't. and you need it to listen to this podcast unless you listen to it somewhere else. So don't delete it. But yeah, cable. Maybe you don't, I haven't had cable in God knows, who knows how long, maybe a decade. I don't need it because I save way more money by paying for not sponsored like Hulu and for Netflix, and I pay for Amazon Prime, so I get Amazon streaming. And my mother uses that and my login to buy, Amazon Prime stuff. And she has cable, and I use her login to watch like Stars and HBO and stuff. So it's a win-win. It's just like looking how to cut things out. Maybe you don't need that like Birchbox or whatever sort of thing, So pick and choose your battles. Maybe you are trying to save or pay off something. At the end of the day, shit happens, okay? Emergencies happen. Maybe you have some like drastic large dental procedure that you have to get done and you have to pay out of pocket. Maybe, God forbid, the roof leaks and you have to get that repaired, and that's a huge, financial strain. And it might feel stressful because you spent all this time making good spending habits, saving money, and there goes all that money. But the thing is that you created those good spending habits, that good mentality, and where your mind is where it's gonna stay. So just be like, okay, I'm starting at square one, but now I have the tools that I need to keep doing the same things. Like I like to take advantage of all the free food that I can get from work that it's like the chef can't use, or it's gonna go to waste or whatever.
Waste not, want not, y'all.
Exactly. And if I can't use it that day, I'll put it in the freezer and use it another day. Today we had calamari. Cost free $99. So yeah, that is what I have to say about that.
Excellent. So I think that is a wrap, y'all.
Oh, that is a wrap.
That is a wrap. Do you have any New Year's resolutions aside from the?
Well, shit, fire and save the matches. I was gonna ask you the same goddamn thing. If that didn't sound Southern, I don't know what does.
It was beautiful.
My mother's favorite phrase that she learned from one of her friends. Yeah, well, shit, fire, and save the matches. So my New Year's resolution, I said too, is I really want to pay off the majority of my debt. And I'm on the right path. I just have to get more intense about working side jobs and not spending money that I don't need to spend. And I want to I was thinking about doing dry January, but I have all this wine I gotta drink.
All right.
But I want to try and not buy any more alcohol. And once that's done, maybe I'll buy a bottle of alcohol like every other week and just make sure that I ration it out, because I'm not about to stop drinking. I need that. My job. I'm not an alcoholic, I swear. I'm
not an alcoholic. I just really need my booze.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to pay off my debt. I also, on top of that, I have to save like $250 to $300 by February, because I have my trip to Israel coming up, and we have to have money for lunch and tip for the driver. So yeah, I don't have to pay to go on Birthright, but I need to have a little bit. Anyway, and then my other resolution is to get more physically fit. And it's funny because I started counting calories. It has worked for me before.
Hey.
It just makes me a little more, for me, it's more of, I'm a huge snacker. And by holding myself accountable of be like, nope,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's okay. Like, that goes
Exactly.
back to that mindful eating. If that's what it takes
Yeah,
to
for
help you be
me,
a mindful
it's
eater, do
because
it.
at work I will graze, and around the holidays they have so much candy. So I let myself have one like Lindt truffle, and you know, it's like I'm not being very strict about my counting calories because I probably am not going to count this butter beer that we had or the
Right.
Glühwein. And it's just like, for me, it's just maybe like every once in a while, just mindfully thinking about the things that I eat. Although I eat pretty healthy, sometimes I overdo it on snacks.
Right.
And I want to start working out more. And there's a new rock gym opening up that's close. I'm hoping maybe to go tomorrow. And when I'm in the climbing, I'm in it. And that is exercise that I fucking love.
Free exercise, everybody.
Free exercise
Free exercise.
through my hard labor. And how about you?
You know what? I would say it's funny that Noam had the.
Oh, I didn't
US
share yours. Abby
Oh.
was silly and shared on our thing. She was like, start a podcast. Oh, wait.
I felt like being a little facetious, and so on our Instagram story, you know, we were asking the questions, and I was on my personal account, and I decided to be a smartass. So, hey, you know what though? Resolution fucking achieved.
Yeah,
Podcast. Hi.
done.
So,
Check.
right. So aside from that one, the Noam's actually is so close to mine, and I know this is going into like the intangible, and one of my goals will be to put it into the more tangible stuff, where it is working on the things that are important to me, not pushing myself to the pushing what I want to do to the bottom of my priorities, having better boundaries, and even things like being less angry, because I definitely have a Scottish temper. I will. That might shock some people, but it will show up from time to time, and I am working on being more mindful about that. I have gotten to the point where I will just walk around being like, I'm just so angry right now, and like I want to kick something, and I'm angry. Like I've gotten to that point where I can just narrate the anger, so it's nice. I would like to get past that and just be like, well, that did irritate me, but now I'm over it. We'll see if we can get there. And then I've got a lot of professional goals, honestly. Y'all know that I'm a writer, at least some of y'all know that I'm a writer. I'm hoping to release something this year. Ideally, it will be a collection of poetry, but it will depend on a lot of things, which includes the publisher that I usually use for collections, like being on board, because self-publishing is a fucking bitch, and I don't want to do it anymore. So whenever I can, I try to be like, hey, small prince, y'all wanna help a bitch out? So I would love to get that done. And in the professional world, in terms of yoga, I would love to kind of hone what I'm doing, especially focusing on the, not just working on site for companies, but kind of getting into the more like working with VAs, working with, even rehab centers, which is actually what I did in the very, very beginning. I would volunteer at homeless centers and outpatient rehab places, and I kind of missed that, and I want to get back to it. So that's part of my goals for 2019.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. So that's it.
That is it.
Feel free to subscribe and comment and like us.
And review us, please.
Please rate us on Apple Podcasts, on iTunes. It
Even if you
helps.
are a Spotifyer, come on to the iTunes. And it takes
and
30
then go back
seconds,
and
y'all.
listen on Spotify.
Exactly. You're paying for it, so fucking use it.
Right?
Right.
You can catch us on Facebook, Cheers to Adulting.
On Instagram, Cheers to Adulting Podcast.
Twitter that we never use,
Right.
but maybe we will.
Maybe
Cheers
someday.
number
Number
two,
two.
Adulting. You can email us any questions, any suggestions for future episodes. If you want to give us constructive criticism, anything, if you just want to talk.
We're here for you.
Yeah, cheers to adulting at gmail.com. And you can go to our website, cheers to adulting at cheerstoadulting.com.
At the .com.
At the .com.
That is it. Let's take these empty glasses and I've got a little bit of ice cream.
I got a little slurp.
That's what she said. Hey.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To adulting.
To adulting.
Cheers to adulting.